Hey folks, I'm still trying to make videos on wattles, and it's a bit hard to ignore this ocean of this species here that's here in Mount Alexandra Reserve in Mittagong. There's just so much of it through here. It's absolutely stunning, putting on a really good show, and it's been doing this for the last couple of months. It's July 2025. And this is a beautiful Acacia terminalis. And I just thought a video on this one would be good. This is a species occurring in New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania. It's got a pretty big range. I think it's on the north and east coast of Tasmania. It's through the eastern half of Victoria to about Melbourne, I think. And it's pretty common in New South Wales, up and down the coast. I think north to about Grafton and then a bit west of there into the tablelands. And it doesn't get too far into the western slopes. I think maybe punches up through the Hunter Valley there a bit, but generally not on the western slopes. Strongly coastal a lot of the time. Goes up into the Blue Mountains and the tablelands, but a lot of the time it's coastal. There's plenty of it here at Mittagong. And it's a very, very easy wattle to identify. It's very hard to confuse it with any other. It keeps its bipinnate foliage. It's another one of the genuine bipinnate wattles. It keeps its alternate compound leaves. And you don't really get a wattle that, in New South Wales anyway, that sort of has leaves like Acacia terminalis. They're a shorter sort of overall compound leaf a lot of the time, although I guess it would be as long as the leaf of, say, Paramatensis or Decurrens or something like Felicifolia, but it's just got much bigger elliptical pinnules or elliptical leaflets. These leaflets would be about over a centimetre long, probably getting up to 15 mil or so, and they'd probably about 5 mil wide. There's a massive gland at the base of the rachis. I'd have to get my finger underneath it probably just to get it in focus. There's a huge gland there. And there's not too many other glands going up the leaf, I don't think. There might be one at the topmost pair of pinnae. If I could zoom in on it there, that might be it. Help if I had a look with the naked eye first. I think sometimes there's a jugary gland at the top of the basal pair of pinnae, but there's always a big one there down at the bottom. So you can get these really nice, genuine bipinnate leaves, sometimes about maybe 20 centimetres long or so. The whole leaf structure, but usually something like 10 or 15. And then across, if you're going to measure the whole leaf across from maybe the terminal of a lateral spreading group of pinnules or a pinna to the other side, yeah, probably about 10 centimetres wide as well. Just remember, that's the overall leaf. Just see how it fits in my hand there. It's so big for these bipinnate wattles, and there'll be the gland there at the bottom. Normally about 5 pairs of pinnae like that, sometimes going up to sort of 10 maybe, but normally you don't get more than sort of 5 pairs. That sort of range for this guy. It's a beautiful leaf structure. This wattle flowers mainly in autumn. It's a really reliable autumn flowerer. This is July, and I would say now it's hit its peak, and this is where a lot of other wattles start flowering as well. But this is an earlier one. It's normally flowering in April, May. You can grow them in a garden. They do pretty well. They can be short-lived, and they don't get very big, and you'd probably grow a wattle that gives a bit more instead, maybe with more foliage and just more sort of habitat value with the plant. These are a bit spindly. There's not a lot of sort of material for birds to perch on and things like that. And it doesn't provide a lot of cover. But here it's in a massive stand and it's just putting on such a glorious show. Flower heads, the globular heads, which all bipinnate wattles have. You can see them in bud here. You could count the number of flowers in each head. It's forming globular heads, and then it's putting those in these nice, what we'd call, I guess, panicles or racemes. So it's just doing what all the bipinnate wattles do, the globular heads, and then the globular heads are arranged secondarily into these sort of panicle-like groups. What's interesting here is the flower colour. We've got really deep yellow. I've been noticing this for the last month. Really deep yellow, and then we're sort of going to more pale cream. Maybe as the flowers age, they're going from a deep yellow to a pale, or it might be going the other way, from a pale to a deeper yellow. I'm just not sure of the sequence, but it's quite beautiful. In New South Wales, we've had 4 subspecies recognised, and they were recognised with sort of manuscript names, let's say about 10 or 15 years ago. But it's now gone back to sort of placeholder names for the 4 subspecies. And one of those subspecies is listed as threatened. It's called Acacia terminalis eastern suburbs, referring to the eastern suburbs of Sydney. It used to be called Acacia terminalis subspecies terminalis. That's a synonym for it. And that's an endangered form of this guy in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. I think it's North Head, Middle Head, possibly Bondi, I think, or that area. And I think people keep wondering if it's turning up at places like La Perouse and maybe the Royal National Park as well. I keep checking out plants in the Royal National Park, but they just don't seem to have the features of that subspecies taxon. But I've heard there's been some genetic work done on it, and the genetic DNA shows that it is a distinct thing. There's some differences in the hairiness of the flower peduncles and the rachis on the leaves and the petioles. Some slight differences in the flower colour. Terminalis subspecies long inflorescences, and that was called Longiaxialis. The most common one is called subspecies angustifolia, and that's now called subspecies Acacia terminalis subspecies glabrisform, and that was called subspecies angustifolia. That's the most common one. That's the most common one across the distribution, as far as I understand. I don't know if there's additional forms in Victoria and Tasmania, but subspecies angustifolia or glabrisform, which tend to has hairless stems, hairless petioles, hairless peduncles for the flowers and the inflorescences. And that grows to 6 metres tall. And I think generally that's what that one would be here, although I haven't had a good close look at it. There's a 4th one called Terminalis subspecies bright yellow flowers, which was called subspecies aurea. And that's said to get to 2 metres tall, rarely to 3 metres tall. There are a lot of shrubs here that are at the 3 metre mark, easily over the 2 metre mark. So I'm just going to assume that this one here is glabrisform, but it does have really bright, vivid flowers. This one here, I don't know if you can see in the sun or the shade, but it's really fluorescent yellow. So they're the 4 subspecies. Eastern suburbs, glabrisform, long flowers or long inflorescences. Long inflorescences it's called, and bright yellow flowers is the other one. And they've never been published as formal names, so we're just stuck with that until we get any further with it, or the Wattle experts get any further with it. But it's an absolutely beautiful plant, and I'm going to conclude this one is probably subspecies angustifolia or subspecies glabrisform. There are some plants around here that are hitting sort of 3-4 metres, a bit taller. Should take it home and have a good look, of course, but that's what I'm going to conclude. But it's a beautiful plant, terminalis, very common, easy to identify. The other bipinnate wattles just aren't really putting on these sort of, the appearance of these bipinnate leaves in coastal New South Wales. You'll get Acacia terminalis, but that's got much bigger individual leaflets and it's a much bigger tree. That's a genuine tree. And the other feather-like bipinnate wattles like Decurrens, Mearnsii, Folicifolia, what else have we got here? Irata. They have much thinner and smaller pinnules. Not getting up to anywhere near the dimensions of these guys. You know, again, 2 to 3 mil wide, maybe getting to 5 mil wide in some cases, and about 15 to 20 mil long. That's sort of just makes this guy look very different. So that's Acacia terminalis. There's a beautiful show of it here. If you're out and about in the bush now, July, it's putting on a fantastic show, and it has been putting on a show for the last month or two. I've seen it doing this since about April. So it seems to be having a long season in 2025.